everyone, this is Nicole and welcome back to BOCHINOT Macrame. In today's tutorial, we will be going over 5 different ways to make a rose knot. So the rose knot is a beautiful macrame knot that you can use to incorporate into almost any macrame project to make it stand out in its own unique way. And believe it or not, there are multiple variations of the rose knot, which means that there are different ways to make the rose knot. In this tutorial, I will be sharing with you 5 different ways to make a rose knot. So some of these rose knot variations incorporate colored cords. Some of them incorporate more than just 2 cords, so 4 cords instead of 2 to make a larger rose knot. And then for some of the other variations, I incorporated another macrame knot within the rose knot itself. So make sure you guys stay tuned and watch till the end to see how all 5 variations are done, and then let me know in the comment section below which ones you guys will incorporate into your own macrame projects. If you are a beginner in macrame, I would suggest starting off your macrame journey with a macrame starter kit that includes all the materials and supplies and the pattern you need to make a macrame project. That way you can quickly practice and learn the basic knots of macrame. Another way to get started on your macrame journey if you are a beginner is to get some cord and practice some basic knots of macrame. We do offer a 2-for-1 cord deal for new beginners, as well as a free 50 knot ebook. If you are interested in any of these, you can check out the link in the video description below. And with that, let's get started.
Rose knot number 1 is what I call a single twist and loop. You will need a strand of cord at about 60 centimeters or 24 inches long to practice these rose knots. Take a strand of cord and then attach it onto a dowel using a lark's head knot. And then with the 2 vertical cords hanging, we're going to twist them to one side. So I'm going to twist them to the right side. Once you have it fairly twisted, take the twisted cords and wrap it around 2 fingers about 3 times. Then take your fingers out and place the 2 cord ends with a loop through the center of the rose knot. Shift the cords if necessary to make it more tight or loose. And this is the first way to make a rose knot. This second rose knot is what I call a double twist and loop, but this time we're going to incorporate color within it. So you can do this with 2 cords that are the same colors, or use 2 different colors like I have here. This is similar to rose knot number 1. We're going to twist all 4 cords. So we have 4 cords instead of 2, so we will have a larger rose knot. And then we're just going to wrap the rose knot twice and then pull the cords through the loop in the middle. Then as you can see, this is a multicolored rose knot. Adjust and shift the cords if necessary to make sure that the rose knot is nice and tight. So this third rose knot that we're going to go through now is what I call a twist and loop and attach. So we're going to have 1 cord attached onto the dowel using a lark's head knot. Then we're going to have a separate strand of cord at about 60 centimeters or 24 inches long, fold it in half, and then we're also going to twist starting from the loop end several times and then wrap it around 2 fingers like we did rose knot pattern number 1 Wrap it around 3 times and then place the loop end through the center of the rose knot. Then adjust the cords if necessary, pull on the vertical cords to tighten the rose knot. And then once it's nice and tight, we're going to take the 2 vertical cord ends from underneath the rose knot and we're going to attach it onto the vertical cords hanging from the dowel using a square knot. So this method of making a rose knot means that you can attach as many rose knots as you want onto almost any project with vertical cords. You can also mix and match colors this way too. If your project is one color and you want to attach rose knots with a different color, you can definitely do that. The fourth way to make a rose knot is what I call a berry rose, and what we're going to do is make a berry knot first before we wrap the cords around to form the rose knot. The cord lengths that you will need to make and practice this knot are 2 strands of cord at about 80 centimeters long, folded in half and attached onto a dowel using lark's head knots. So to make a berry knot, we're going to make 3 consecutive square knots. Take the outer left and right cords as working cords for a square knot, and I'm going to make my square knot about 2 inches down from the top just so that my rose knot hangs a little bit lower, and there's also space above to weave the cords through to finish off the berry knot. Once 3 consecutive square knots have been made, take the middle 2 cords and weave it through the middle above the first square knot. Pull them through the back down, and then using the same outer cords, finish off with one last square knot. Then starting with the outer cords, take the right outer cord and wrap it around the berry knot over to the left, and then the left outer cord, wrap it over to the right, and then repeat the same thing with the inner 2 cords. Inner right cord over to the left, and the inner left cord over to the right. Then using those inner cords, which should be the longer cords, we're going to finish off with one last square knot with the 2 outer cords in the middle. I would say that this rose knot is likely the most secure rose knot, and you can continue repeating this as many times underneath, or you can make them horizontally and then add alternating rose knots as well. So this 5th and last rose knot is made using a 3-ply braid with 3 strands of cord at about 60 centimeters long. I'm going to skip about 5 inches on one end and make an overhand knot, and then I'm going to pin or tape the top down. I'm going to start making a 3-ply braid for about 23 centimeters or about 9 inches long. So once you have the 3-ply braid done, I'm just going to close off this end with another overhand knot just to hold it in place. Then taking the pattern out, I'm going to start wrapping this 3-ply braid. So in the center where the 3-ply braid is made, around my 2 index fingers 3 times, and then make a loop with the other end and weave it through the center of the rose knot. So if you do have a fairly loose rose knot, shift and adjust the cords and then pull on the vertical ends to tighten. Once you have a nice and secure rose knot, you can unravel the overhand knots we made for the 3-ply braid. So this 5th way of making a rose knot gives this rose knot a little bit more texture instead of the smooth flat look that the single strand cotton cord gives you. This would give you a similar result if you use 3-ply cord as well, and it would give you even more texture if you 3-ply braided 3-ply cord and then made the rose knot. And now we will attach the rose knot the same way as we did rose knot number 3. We're going to separate out a far left and far right cords, so just 2 cords, and use those as working cords for a square knot to attach this rose knot onto the 2 vertical cords on the right side of the dowel. The rest of the cords underneath the rose knot and also the cords hanging from the dowel are anchor cords within the square knot.
And that's a wrap with the 5 different ways to make a macrame rose knot tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. The rose knot is one of my favorite knots. I did incorporate the rose knot into a plant hanger recently, and I love that you can add on this knot to almost any project as a macrame rose knot add-on by just attaching it onto a project using a square knot. If you guys are looking specifically for DIY projects or how to advance your macrame skill set by applying knots into specific patterns, we do release an exclusive macrame tutorial weekly on our BOCHINOT macrame community on Patreon. And this is a platform where you can advance your macrame skill set quicker from learning from patterns to creating your own macrame designs. If you guys are interested, check out the link in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.